November 24th, 1971, Thanksgiving Eve. A man in a dark suit and sunglasses walks into Portland International Airport. He buys a one-way ticket to Seattle, cash only, $20. His name? Dan Cooper. Within hours, he would pull off the most audacious crime in aviation history. And then, he would vanish into thin air. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. The man who outsmarted the FBI, airlines, and an entire nation might have made one fatal mistake in the final seconds. This is the story of the only unsolved hijacking in American history. And new evidence from 2024 suggests we might finally know what happened. Cooper wasn't your typical criminal. Flight attendants described him as calm, polite, even charming. He ordered a bourbon and soda, lit a cigarette, and waited. Then, mid-flight, he handed a note to the stewardess. The note was simple, direct, terrifying. "I have a bomb." He opened his briefcase just enough for her to see wires, red sticks, a battery. Everything looked real. The flight crew had no choice but to comply. His demands? 4 parachutes and $200,000 in $20 bills. That's roughly $1.2 million in today's money. Here's where Cooper showed his genius. He asked for 4 parachutes, not 1. Why? To make authorities think he might take a hostage. This clever move ensured they wouldn't sabotage the equipment if they thought he'd strap a parachute to a flight attendant. They couldn't risk giving him a faulty chute. The plane landed in Seattle. Cooper released all 36 passengers. The money and parachutes were delivered. And then he made his most audacious demand yet. Fly to Mexico City, stay under 10,000 feet, keep the rear stairs down. At exactly 8:24 p.m., somewhere over the dense forests of Washington state, in freezing temperatures and howling winds, Cooper did the unthinkable. He jumped into the night, into a wilderness so thick that search teams spent weeks combing through it and found nothing. No body, no parachute, no money. It was as if he had never existed. The FBI launched Norjack Northwest hijacking, one of the most extensive investigations in American history. They interviewed 800 suspects over 5 years. They analyzed every detail, the tie Cooper left behind, the cigarette butts, even the choice of bourbon. Experts weighed in. The jump was impossible. Wind speeds over 200 miles per hour, freezing temperatures. Cooper was wearing a business suit and loafers, not exactly skydiving gear. The parachute he chose couldn't even be steered. Most agents agreed. Cooper died in that jump. His body was somewhere in those woods, waiting to be found. But here's the thing, they never found him. And for years, that single fact kept the legend alive. Was Cooper a military paratrooper? A master criminal with inside knowledge? Someone with nothing to lose? Then, 9 years later in 1980, everything changed. An 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was building a campfire along the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington. As he smoothed the sand, his hand struck something. He dug deeper. 3 packets of deteriorating $20 bills. The rubber bands still intact. Total value, $5,800. The FBI confirmed it immediately. The serial numbers matched Cooper's ransom money perfectly. But this discovery raised more questions than it answered. The money was found 20 miles from Cooper's suspected drop zone. It was buried in sand along a riverbank. How did it get there? Did Cooper stash it? Did the river carry it downstream? Or did something else happen that night? The bills were badly deteriorated, blackened, waterlogged, almost unreadable. They had been there for years, untouched. The rest of the money? Never found. Not a single bill was ever spent. No bank, no store, no business ever reported those serial numbers. Cooper had gotten away with the perfect crime, but he'd never spent a dime. Fast forward to 2023. After decades of dead ends, 2 siblings came forward with explosive evidence about their late father, Richard Floyd McCoy II. 5 months after Cooper's hijacking, McCoy pulled off an almost identical crime. Same plane model, same parachute escape. But McCoy was caught, convicted, and later died in a police shootout in 1974. For years, the FBI investigated McCoy as a potential Cooper suspect but ruled him out. The timeline didn't match. The physical descriptions differed slightly. Case closed. But in 2023, McCoy's children, Shantae and Rick, revealed something shocking. In a storage shed on their family's North Carolina property, they found a parachute. Not just any parachute, one of the exact types used in the Cooper hijacking. and a logbook that placed their father in the right location at the right time. Amateur investigator Dan Grider, who had been studying the case for over 20 years, called it literally 1 in a billion. The FBI reopened their investigation in 2024. Here's what investigators now believe happened. Cooper wasn't a master criminal who vanished into legend. He was Richard McCoy, a Vietnam veteran with expert parachute training and a massive grudge. But here's his fatal mistake, the one that would have been found immediately if conditions had been different. Cooper jumped at night, in a storm, into thick forest. He was dressed in a business suit, and critically, one of his parachutes was a training chute that had been sewn shut. He didn't check. Former FBI agents now believe Cooper likely died within moments of leaving that plane. The wind speeds, the freezing temperatures, the impossible landing zone, it was all too much. As one agent put it, he probably never even got his chute open. The money found along the Columbia River, it likely washed downstream after Cooper's body landed in or near the water, the cash scattering over years. So why did McCoy do it again 5 months later? Simple. If he was Cooper, he survived that first jump against all odds. Injured, perhaps, barely alive. But he made it. And when he realized he couldn't spend the money without getting caught, he tried again. The second time, he got careless. The second time, they caught him. The man who outsmarted everyone made his fatal error in the planning stage, jumping into conditions no experienced paratrooper would ever choose. His genius was also his downfall. He made the plan so impossible that even he couldn't survive it. D.B. Cooper didn't disappear into legend. He disappeared into the wilderness. And he never made it out. The only unsolved hijacking in American history might finally be solved. More unsolved mysteries coming. Subscribe so you don't miss them.